Monday's Taliban assault on the Afghan capital has again ignited concerns NATO is failing to combat terrorism there. After almost a decade of U.S. efforts to control the situation, locals say they're too afraid of the militants to accept any help from Americans. RT's Paul Slier reports.
For the last 6 months, American troops have been visiting this school at least once a week. It's the largest girls' school in Kalat City, with about 1,500 students. The soldiers helped build 8 classrooms, equip a computer room, and are now preparing a playground. It's a step forward in a country where women were once forbidden to study and where less than 1% of them can read or write. Principal Mahmouda Makiwal says the happiest day of her life was when she unlocked the front gate, marking the end of Taliban rule, but the beginning of a different kind of danger.
Nowadays, I choose to work together with the American soldiers on some projects, because I believe it will make our school better. Most of the time, the Taliban doesn't know we are cooperating with the foreigners. This is for our own safety and security. I hope they never find out, because if they do, it will create lots of problems. They'll close us down.
And this is the dilemma Afghans face: to accept help from outside and risk Taliban reprisals, or not to.
We've also been asked not to take too many pictures because pupils go home and tell their families that foreigners were here. In rural communities like this one, not only does word spread quickly, but most families have some tie to the Taliban.
Zabul province is one of the poorest in the country. It borders Pakistan, making it easier for Taliban fighters operating here to get reinforcements. For the coalition forces trying to eliminate them, the fight is as much a military as economic one. Reconstruction teams like this one hope that by providing education, jobs and improving standards of living, local Afghans will be less likely to support the insurgents.
Increasing the capacity of the government, the Afghanistan government, and improving the public's perception of that government and their connection to that government. That's probably the most important thing, is helping to improve the government such that the local population will put their trust in their government.
These widows are preparing rose bushes for planting. Most of their husbands were killed in war, and without them, it's a struggle to survive. Naik Bibi knows the risks she takes by coming here each day and accepting help from the Americans. But she says she has no other way of feeding her 8 children.
There is no security. We're helpless. We live on what we can get. We take a big chance by coming here, and any Talib can find out and come shoot at us. This whole country is run by the Taliban. They're in the mountains. They're everywhere. But what to do?
Commander Andy Veris says he'd prefer his soldiers not to be doing this kind of work. But right now, it's just not an option for those organizations who should be doing it.
I invite them to come and put me out of business. I want them to line up on the street corner so I can take my organization and my people home. Here is the problem. The reality is that until the security environment improves here to a certain level, we're just not going to have very many NGOs knocking on the door to send their people into this vulnerable institution.
The Obama administration recently announced it was tripling the number of civilian experts in Afghanistan to about 1,000. But that promise of help comes at a price, and with no guarantees that in the long run, Afghans will be any better off than they are now. Paul Slier, RT, Kalat City, southern Afghanistan.